There's much about Harlem I'm sure you know about. However, nestled within the heart of it is a hidden gem called Mount Pleasant Christian Academy International, a learning experience every young person should have.
The history of Harlem has left a permanent mark on American culture. The art, music, and literature of the Harlem Renaissance were not just a passing phase. They became foundational to the American identity. The jazz music that Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong perfected in Harlem clubs became America's classical music, influencing countless musicians of all races. The writings of Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston are now required reading in schools and universities across the nation. They opened the door for generations of black writers to tell their own stories. The movement proved that African American culture was a rich and vital force that deserved a central place in the nation's story. The spirit of the Harlem Renaissance also helped fuel the civil rights movement that came decades later. The pride and self-assertion of the new Negro laid the intellectual groundwork for the fight for equality. The artists and thinkers of Harlem showed that cultural expression could be a powerful form of protest. They used their work to challenge stereotypes and demand respect. This legacy of using art for social change inspired activists in the 1950s and 1960s. The idea that black is beautiful had its roots in the cultural confidence that was born in Harlem. The neighborhood became a symbol of black excellence and resilience that inspired people across the country to fight for their rights. Even after its golden age, Harlem has remained an important center for black culture. It has faced many challenges over the years, including economic hardship and social unrest. However, the community has always endured. The Apollo Theater, a legendary venue from the Renaissance era, continues to be a stage for both new and established black performers.
The day that David and I visited Mount Pleasant Christian Academy International was a day to remember. We were greeted with hospitality by staff and students as they received us. The experience was one of worship and praise, followed by praise and worship introduction led by the students, part of their day-to-day routine, followed by scripture readings by the students and staff. What I witnessed was an atmosphere of joy and laughter, one conducive for learning. I could tell how passionate Bishop and the staff were about what they do there with the students. The curriculum is an individual-based learning geared to a more individual pace. We conducted a series of interviews with the staff and students, and they talked about their passion and their zeal for the program. Take a listen.
Jeffries, what is your role here in Mount Pleasant Christian Academy?
Well, I've been given the title of art director, and so I've been working with the students for a couple of months, developing some acting techniques for them. They're amazing students, they're naturally talented, and it's been an absolute pleasure to work with them.
And let me ask you another question. Now, since you've been, dealing with the students and the school system, the staff and everything, what is your outtake on that? I mean, how does it make you feel by working with them?
I absolutely love working here. Bishop Eatman has asked me to be a part of it for maybe 15 years. And because of my own personal career, I hadn't been able to. But it's been such a blessing to be here. Dean Brown was a teacher when my children were here. And it was so wonderful to be a parent here. I love the one-on-one experience that the students get. I love that they're developing global citizens. They get an opportunity to be empowered to be leaders.
You can sit back and be traveling the world doing this stuff. You chose to.
Yes.
To work with our young people, and I want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
But what do you see, what benefits do you get from the children as you work with them?
Seeing them making, in the cooking class, seeing them make a meal and sit down and enjoy it.
Yes.
And they do. We never have anything left over when we cook, no matter what it is. But it's the joy of seeing them learning how to do something, especially our guys. My two sons, when they were coming up, my husband said, men don't cook, men don't be in the kitchen. I said, you want to eat? You better learn to cook, because you may not get married, you may not find somebody who know how to cook.
That's right.
You better know how to cook for yourself, and you better know how to wash them dishes and clean up that kitchen.
That's why you see me, I ain't starting.
There you go. We used to say, fathers work for son to son, but mother's work is never done.
There you go.
And we have to train our kids how to be able to take care of themselves. And our children, I've always loved, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be the teacher. Always wanted to be the teacher. And I tried to educate myself with things that were not necessarily in the school. You know, learning how to cook, to clean, to teach, to learn. To learn is to teach is to learn. And I tell them, I'm not too old that I can't learn.
Sure.
So I asked them, and they have a project, I asked them to make up 10 recipes. I don't want them to use the TV. I don't want them to use their cell phone. I want them to create meals of their own. And if they need help, they can, well, they've got me on this WhatsApp and FaceTime and all that stuff too. But luckily, I'm a cyber Gigi. That's what my grandson called me. So I understand the telephone and the iPad and the computers and stuff
So
like
you're a
that.
student as well.
Oh, I got my bachelor's degree when I was 57 years old.
Well, we say, in old school say, we always a student.
I said, I went to college with my son. When I encouraged him to, I said, you go to college and I'm gonna go too.
A little bit of my story. So in 2021, this was the time during COVID, and I was looking for a school. And so, as you know, everybody was remote, and so my son was in a public school, and I noticed that he was doing a little bit better being remote. So he had had some challenges in school previously, and a lot of it had to do with being in a large classroom, being overstimulated, and so we had some challenges finding him a school. And so one day, you know, it was actually prayerful. I was like praying like, God, I need a better school for my son. And I'm from Harlem, and so I happened to just be walking in this neighborhood, and I saw the school. And I had never seen the school before, right? And even though this is my neighborhood, and so I was like, And so I gave him a call. I called Bishop the next day, and it was history. I met with him, and you know, he just poured. He was very encouraging, right, in terms of, you know, this would be a great place for your son. You know, whatever it is that he needs, that we will be able to provide that for him. So yeah.
That's good. And also, by you being a parent, I understand that you not only enroll your student, but you're pretty active as well with the school.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you do in the school?
Whatever they need. So the school, they host a lot of things for the students. So they have programs for Easter for them. They have programs for Thanksgiving, Christmas. So I'm always preparing a dish for those, and then I'll help serve, I'll help host, whatever they need. I'm helpful. So.
That's good.
Education is evolving, challenging traditional models. At Mount Pleasant Christian Academy, innovation is key. Discover how they're reshaping learning to meet the demands of today's world, ensuring students are prepared for the future. Individualized learning tailors education to each student's unique needs. At Mount Pleasant, personalized curriculums ensure every learner thrives, focusing on strengths and addressing weaknesses. This approach transforms education into a more engaging and effective experience. Imagine a classroom where lessons are designed just for you. Personalized learning at Mount Pleasant adapts to your pace, interests, and goals, making education more relevant and impactful. It's a game changer for students and teachers alike. Meet students who once struggled, but now excels thanks to individualized learning. Their story is one of many at Mount Pleasant, where personalized education boosts engagement and performance, fostering a love for learning. Teachers at Mount Pleasant report stronger connections with students. By understanding each learner's needs, educators can provide targeted support, enhancing the educational experience and building lasting relationships. Individualized learning is the future of education. By advocating for personalized curriculums, you can help transform schools in your community. Together, we can create a more inclusive and effective educational system for all.
Where do you see yourself? What is maybe something you might want to do with yourself, your life?
Well, I'm interested in business right now,
Okay.
and I want to be a CEO of my own skincare and hair care company. I would say my mom really inspires me because she's a chair of pediatrics.
Oh.
And the problem is, like, today with the industry fields, you don't see black women. You know, I want to be one of those black women in the industry when it comes to hair care, skincare. And I also want to do real estate on the side. So I would say my mom inspires me because of her leadership skills. And I would say Beyonce with her sacred hair care brand, that too. So those are my two biggest inspirations.
So how old are you?
13.
And great aspirations. And you, young man?
At the moment, I don't really have anything.
Well, you still have time.
Yeah,
You still have time. And it's no rush. As long as you stay in. No, go on. You had something on your mind?
Yeah, I was also mostly thinking of being an artist because I've already made a lot of progress.
What kind of artist you want to be?
Like, I could work with almost anything. Like paints,
Okay.
colored pencils, give me anything to work.
Okay, visual artist, doing sculpture. Oh, okay. That's range. I mean, you know, you express yourself through your work. And like you said, you're still in the process of trying to figure that out. That's okay. That's okay. That's fine. I'm not going to hold you guys too much longer, but I want you to know that I'm really glad that you shared, you know, your aspirations with me. Come on now, you got to smile. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I mean, this is actually a pretty fun school, right? What is your day really in?
My day, like
I mean, like here at the school, how long? What's the end of the day? What hour?
ends at 4 o'clock,
Okay, 4 o'clock.
which is a little bit too late for me. You know, I prefer to leave a little bit earlier.
Oh, you got things to do?
Yeah,
Places to go,
the
people
school
to
used
see?
to end a little bit later. I'm not sure the exact time too. It's like around 8 before I came here. So I'm glad they reduced it back.
Oh, you tell me, I want to get to, you said it used to end at 8 o'clock in the evening?
I think so.
Okay. We're not gonna hold you, I know you got places to go. But no, what's on your mind?
Sometimes we end at 1, 4, 5, or 6.
Oh, it's no set time,
Yeah, depending on what's happening.
what's going on?
Like, for instance, if we're going to practice our poems, like on tomorrow, we are going to be leaving at 6 o'clock.
In the evening?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, is that for any particular reason?
It is for a very important reason. We
Yes.
have a Langston Hughes play coming up on June 8th.
Are you in it?
Yes,
Oh.
we're both in it. Everyone in the class
You
is
didn't tell
basically.
me you were an aspiring actor.
It's not really like a play. I mean, it's a play, but like there's also poems and stuff.
You
Mostly.
have to read, you have
liturgical
to act
dances.
things out and,
Yeah,
you
there's
know,
literally liturgical
getting
dance.
there from the National Black Unity News. You know, I've been hanging out with you guys all day. Thank you for the food you fixed up. Did you ladies have anything to do with that?
Yeah,
You did? See that? What's your name?
Michaela.
And,
Kimani.
okay. How many of you ladies been with the program?
About 2 years,
You like it? Have you done any traveling?
yeah, to Atlanta.
Okay. Okay. Did you see any stars down there? Rappers? Okay. Okay. But what about any upcoming trips? Any I should know about? Maybe I can go.
Oh yeah, so there's a trip during the summer, they're going to Africa, and I think they mentioned also about Massachusetts.
Okay. You think you're interested in that?
Oh, I can't be like in that sense, because here's the main issue, because I might not go to Africa with y'all, because
I have a health issue,
Yeah.
and I can't be around Sunday, and that's not gonna be
Yeah.
happening.
Well, you just don't go on that trip, you go on another trip that might be better for you. Now, some students have gone to Africa, right? Here's the question. Did they have to get some shots, like a couple needles or something? What they call them inoculation. Think about that now. You're not sure? Okay, don't worry about it. I've never, that they get your phones from you before you come in. Is that true? You have a cell phone?
No, I don't
No
know.
cell phone. And what about you? You have a cell phone? Now, what's the policy when you come in the door about these phones?
You can
Enlighten me.
you can have it in worship.
Right.
This is that when worship's over, Ms. Brown tells you to go put it into the casing
And when can you get that phone back?
after school.
How do you feel about all of that?
It's really not that serious. I mean, like before in public school, there was the same thing. So
Oh, they took your phones too?
yeah, they put in like these little yonder pouches.
Okay. Was that school that you were going to was here in New York?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, because in some places, they don't do that. Young people just have their phones with them all day and talking to people, texting people, looking at Facebook. And you really can't be absorbing what you really should be doing. All right. You guys, I'm Destiny, you guys are the future. You understand that? That's really a big responsibility put on your shoulders. Because, I mean, I'm gonna be going out, and one day you're gonna roll in. And that's how it's gonna go. I'm gonna pass the torch to you. You're gonna be a little doctor, whether you sing or dance or write or produce or whatever you're gonna do. And I see you guys doing great things. You have any idea? No, you have any ideas of what you wanna do with yourself?
I would probably want to be a YouTuber, like probably in the studies of hacking and computer.
You like computers?
Yeah.
You like all of that? And what about you?
I would like to become a marine scientist.
Okay. That's a lot of math involved in it. You like that?
No.
No. Wait a minute now. He said no. Wait a minute. See, that's the key. You gotta pick what you're gonna really love to do. 'Cause, as I said before, when you find something that you really love to do, you never work a day in your life. You agree with that? Ever heard that saying? That's a very true saying. If you find what it is you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. And you were here all along, or were you in another curriculum?
I was definitely in another school before I came to this one, a charter school. I attended a charter school that had about 26 students in each class, and they will have a topic in terms of the curriculum and what we need to learn, but they will say that 3 days was the maximum days. They wouldn't say that out loud, but that's just from my knowledge. They'll only have it for 3 days for someone to learn a material and master it. And I believe that's not a good amount of time for anyone to master anything. Because mastering is a skill.
I completely agree.
Skills do not take 3 days.
Would you agree that everybody learns at a different rate?
Yes, everyone does learn at a different rate.
You might learn faster than me. I might have to do it in order to absorb it. You might just look at it and you have a photographic memory, you have it, right? So I get it completely. So Samantha, have you decided of any things that you might aspire that you might want to do in life?
I do.
Look, tell me about it. I want to know.
By the end of June, I will be publishing my first book.
See that? I knew you were a sharp knife in the drawer from the moment I saw you when I was sitting right over there. Now, what's the book going to be about?
So it's basically my transformation as a kid going through post-traumatic stress in terms of feeling not enough, especially in school where I was not learning at a certain pace as others, and how that really affected my self-worth, self-respect, and my confidence. And that's just, I wrote about how you can change and persevere through all of that. From not being something to being something that you wanted to be all along.
So you already have it when you said persevere. That's one of my words. I like that word. Perfect. It added right to the context of what you were telling me. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. What do you see yourself doing, young man? Come on, smile. Now. It's not that bad. Keep it. You don't pick. It's not that bad. Lighten up. Léger. Lighten up. It's just light. It's not that bad. What do you see yourself? What do you aspire to maybe think you want to do?
Well, I do know, like, the exact position I want to be in. So, like, ever since I was a kid, a lot of people think I'm weird, like, when I say this, but I like trains and stuff. And people think, oh, like, if you like trains, you're neurodivergent. But no, it doesn't really mean that. I like seeing how they work, and they have a lot of different interesting parts and stuff. So what I said I wanted to be when I grow up is like the MTA, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. They have I want to be in a position where, like, they have the yards where they store subway cars, and in the yards, like, there's people who work on them and stuff like that. So I want to be a mechanic for them because I like engineering and stuff like that.
See, I'm glad you mentioned that. See, that falls in what they call the acronym STEM. You've heard of that. And that falls into that. Science, technology, engineering, and math. And I understand completely what you're talking about. You know, I used to work in the electronic field for 15 years before I even went to college. I went to trade school first, and then I did it the other way around. So I don't see anything weird with that. If people don't get you, they don't get you. That's your problem. You just keep on soaring.
Today, Harlem is a neighborhood that is full of life and continuing to evolve. It is a diverse community that honors its past while looking toward the future. You can still feel the history in its beautiful brownstones and hear the echoes of jazz in its streets. At the same time, new businesses, restaurants, and cultural institutions are bringing new energy to the area. Harlem remains a symbol of the power of community and the enduring importance of Black culture. It is a living, breathing neighborhood that continues to contribute its unique rhythm to the heartbeat of New York City and the world. Its story is a powerful reminder of what people can achieve when they come together to create a world of their own.
I want to know, why do you do it?
Because our kids are brilliant, and they're not recognized for their brilliance. And so I seek to let them see that they're brilliant, and let the world see that they're brilliant, because they truly are. And many of them have been, categorized in different areas that really are not pertinent to who they are. And it's the joy of getting them to know who they are and what place they have in this world, and being able to build from coming from a low self-esteem to realizing their brilliance.
I just want to say this to you again. I appreciate the things that you do. And I think it has to be so rewarding for what you're doing, because you bless so many children. And I watched you today. And I told someone earlier, I have not seen this in a long, long time. Matter of fact, I don't think I ever seen it. Coming into a school where there was laughter, joy. I mean, that's it's strange. I've been to a lot of schools, and it was chaos. But because the children laugh, you see they have joy in the hearts, and y'all teach them so much. And the closing statement, because one of the reasons why we are doing this documentary, because we want to bring exposure to what's taking place here. This will go throughout the United States and throughout the diaspora all around the world. And everybody can use a helping hand, because, like I say, we need to get more students in here, because more of our students need to get this type of education. So what would you say in closing to those who are in the general public of why they should support this school or why they should enroll their children into this school?
Well, we're unique. We're individualized. We look at each young person and look at what their specific needs are. And we try to build and work with those needs where no one else can do that, and give them the Christian, aspect of it, to know that God is in every aspect of your life. Whether it's in math, science, social studies, God is all in it. And to know that you can be a great writer. So we do a lot of writing, all these things to enhance our young people and to build them. So wherever you are in this scheme of academia, your child should be in this academic program where they are recognized and they are encouraged.
We teach the children is about the ape. We teach zoology. The aging ape is a story about that. What he did, he ate too much. It's a lesson there. Then after the 3 A's is the ape, the antelope, and the armadillo. Those are the first 3 words. So if you master those words, then it goes into the M. We don't go A, B, C, D, F, G. We go into the M. So therefore, when you combine the A with the M, and you have mama, what better word can you use than mama as your first word you're learning? Perhaps I'm going on too much. But I love it. I just love it. The math, how when they're playing and they use a playing ball, or when I'm teaching a Bible lesson, the Bible stories included in that also. And not only to read, but also nowadays they have the animation of the same story, which really gets into them more. And they master the scripture. The first scripture they learn is, in everything give thanks.
Yes.
Any month you can learn, in everything give thanks. So, wow. You was
Well,
asking me
I'm
questions.
just listening to you go on.
I'm so excited.
That's
I
what
love
I'm
it.
saying. But it seems like you gained more from the children.
Probably. I did. Because when I was in school, we didn't do phonics. I just happened to be loving the library. I never knew I would be teaching that. I never knew that my husband would give me this opportunity. He was sitting in the office, and I could see him now sitting at his desk. He said, I want you to go over to BMCC. I had been to New York University because I got a scholarship from there. Therefore, I was able to go into the business world. You wear heels. You know how the ladies dress. I guess they still dress like that. I know, but anyhow. And I went to BMCC, and I took the course. And then gradually, when I went, I wasn't even trying to acquire credits to work in the school. And after a while, years later, when I found that I had worked up to the master's, enough credits, and then my husband said one day, you're going to, I forgot the place we went to, where we were awarded our master's degree.
And the first thing I want you to do, introduce yourself and your role in the Mount Pleasant Christian Academy.
Yeah, I'm Charles Eatman. I'm the Bishop of the Mount Pleasant Church Ministries and the founder and administrator of Mount Pleasant Christian Academy International. That began in 1982. And it's been one of the greatest experiences of my life to have the opportunity to work with so many people. Sister Jackie that you met, her son and daughter were in our class, in our school program. I must have been in the 90s, I'm not sure. But so many dear young people, of course, through the Mount Pleasant Christian Academy International. It's a joy because we see lives actually transformed. We see students that they said would never do well. We saw students who were written off. We saw students who had been left behind, filled with potential. But it takes energy and time. And Mount Pleasant is an individualized educational, I call it a ministry.
Okay.
Educational ministry. Because you see, in order to teach students, you have to know them.
That's right.
Teaching is learning. You can't teach anyone until you learn about them. So our program and learning centers are small, but I know every student. I learned about who they are. I know their learning capacity. I know their interests. I know their timing. I know the beat of their learning. And it is so exciting because with this student, I have to take my time, slow motion. But this student, the same age, I have to do it at a great speed because the person is soaking up. And then this person is middle of the road. And it keeps the educators alert because you have to know them.
Let's see, one second. I want to ask you one important question.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Wow, that's a great question. Okay. Well, Jeremiah talks about fire shut up in the bones. I can't help myself. I have to do it. Not that I planned to do it. It was not my plan. It was not something that I wanted to do. It was an automatic flame when I was 14, many moons and stars ago. I formed a Bible class in my block, not far from here, 148th Street. And I got together 5 or 6 kids. I took them to my grandmother's house and I taught them the books of the Bible and John 3:16, this and this and this. And then the number got great. And grandma said, now, that's it. So I took them to the church where I attended church and we had the opportunity to build. And I don't know why I started it to this day, but God used it as a marvelous opportunity, and I've been teaching ever since. When I was, I don't know, 18 or 19, I had my wife she was just a young lady in the church at that point. She helped me to do some work, and then we fell in love, and we got married, and we had 4 children and 7 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild, so many years later. But it's always been something within me. I've been teaching ever since I was 14.
Okay, let me ask you one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since you started this school,
yes,
and you laid the foundation,
mm-hmm.
then where do you plan to go from here? What are your goals for the school now?
Yes, in my heart, I'm a big thinker. My mother said to me when I was a boy, she said, you have beer pockets with champagne taste.
Yeah, maybe that.
And I didn't know what she was talking about. I thought, they had lost their mind. But that's really who I am. I'm thinking big. I want great things to happen. I'm looking at the possibility by God's grace to develop a brand new structure so that these 2 brownstones would be torn down and we would build a structure that would have a school for 3 floors and a basement with a theater and then 6 floors of senior citizens housing. That's what I'd like to do before the Lord takes me home. That's my vision. That's the next phase of what I'd like to see happen.
All right, thank you, sir.
Now that you've experienced Mount Pleasant Christian International Academy and have met staff and students, I hope that you have gotten a sense of the learning environment there and the atmosphere is one where students can thrive and reach their full potential. Many have had challenges that they face to persevere, but overcome them due to the ministry they're a part of there. Because of the curriculum, many have gone on to colleges such as Howard University. For example, we hope that you enjoyed the documentary and now have a better sense of what Mount Pleasant Christian Academy International is all about. If you're interested in having a documentary done on your life, business, or career, please call David Murphy or myself, Wayne Randall. We look forward to talking to you.
Ich fühle mich